What's up, guys? I'm going to walk through creating catalog sales ads for automotive. And I'm just going to take this from the top. You may already know how to do this. You may know how to do some of it or most of it. But I'm just going to walk you through my thought process and try to do it as efficiently as possible. But again, I don't want to make any assumptions in case you haven't done this or don't know some of these certain aspects or details of setting up your campaign. So, uh, first things first, let's get in the right business manager account. And let's go to ads manager. I'm going to grab an account and just create a dummy campaign. And I'm going to use one that I've worked in before and I know has a catalog. So I'm going over to Firkins, and then at the campaign level, I'll click create, pretty plain and simple. Catalog sales, and then obviously turn on special ad category. Name my campaign. We'll just for this. You guys know all the nomenclature and naming stuff. You're better at that than I am. Just gonna call it test campaign. And then my catalog, make sure, I feel like it doesn't always default to the right catalog for your campaign. It could default to another account. So you always want to make sure your catalog is synced up with the account. And by that, I mean at the campaign level, because it could have another one there, and that would obviously be something that you don't want to happen. Now, what I like to do with these is instead of using CBO, so campaign budget optimization, or setting a end date for my campaign, I like to use a campaign spending limit. So let's just say it's $1,000 for the month. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in here, and I'll show you kind of how I do the rest of this from there. And we've got everything we need here. We selected a special ad category. I'm gonna create. Now, typically I'll just create the campaign and I'll do this process sort of sequestered instead of, I just went with the default, which has rolled me over to my ad set. That's fine. But typically I just set them up individually. You might have multiple ad sets. They're just, there's not really a reason or method to my madness for that. But anyways, I just let it roll over, test ad set. And I'll delete all this when I'm done. Catalog sales. So you've got, as far as destinations, website on Facebook, may or may not be familiar with these. Website's obvious. On Facebook, I really like it. Creates a native experience. It loads faster. You've got some unique creative options that you can use, and it's a great option and creates a great opportunity for the client. There might be scenarios where that makes sense, but a lot of times you're going to have to tailor the creative to be able to use some of those kind of cooler, more dynamic assets that are provided when you use that on Facebook experience. And knowing that you have limited time, that might not always be possible, but it's worth testing if you feel like experimenting and doing something different. And if a client needs results and things seem static or aren't performing, great option. So promoted vehicles, if this ad is at the retargeting level, all products is great as far as the catalog is concerned, because it's going to retarget based off the pages they viewed, right? It's going to pull in the inventory, the vehicles that they looked at when they were on the site. If it's not retargeting, it's obviously better to dial it in. There's just a big difference between somebody who's looking for a truck and someone who's looking for a sedan. It makes the process, as far as what the algorithm is, the information it's taking in, it doesn't have to pull in as much, and it can dial in the targeting a little more. Theoretically, all products, every vehicle, all of the inventory would work, and the algorithm would find appropriate buyers based off of their in-market habits and behaviors, all that sort of stuff, and what they're looking for. But I just think if we can kind of speed that process up, it'll benefit us. So on the front end, if we're casting our net to find those in-market shoppers, I like to dial this in. I'm going to, well, no, I'm not going to assume. So I've set up some different product sets in here. This is based on creative and campaigns that I received, and then I used that creative for whatever the promotion, new Dodge Ram, this much off, MSRP, or 0% financing for 72 months, whatever it is, whatever that type of vehicle was. I created a specific product set, super simple. Click the plus sign. Again, you may know this, name it. can filter down based off of a number of different factors here. You come in and select new, and then you can add 2021 because as I'm as I've found out, 2020s can be considered new if they're still on the lot. And so, anyways, so you can dial that in here, save your list. I'm not going to do that, but just make sure you're obviously selecting. We'll just say we're just going to keep it all new 2021 vehicles. And then, as far as your daily budget's concerned, for the campaign, if you remember, we set up that $1,000, and let's say it's day one of a 30-day month, and we only had one ad set going into that campaign. Now, what I do is the simple math on this. I'm just doing this with my head. It's probably not necessarily exactly correct, but it'd be something like $33 a day, right? It's only going to spend that $1,000, no more than that. And let's say if this was March 1st and it was going to end on March 30th, we'd be dialed in as far as budget is concerned. We're not putting a stop date on that. It's just going to spend out that entire budget evenly each day. So I really like how campaigns perform when we set the budget up this way. That said, if you had multiple, if I had two in here, right, if I had two ad sets within the campaign, I'd divide this number by two, and that would be the daily allocation for each. And then I wouldn't have to put an end date. I'd have my start date, and based off that math, it would spend out. And if you're starting a campaign later, you would just divide that 1,000 by, it's March 8th. So say it's going to March 30th, I know I needed it to spend for 22 days. If we're fishing and not retargeting, you're just going to leave it the audience set to where it is now. If you're retargeting off the website, you would obviously select here. As far as custom audiences are concerned, I already created one of these in here. If you're an accountant, you haven't done this before, you can create new. It's gonna drop this audience into inclusions. But what I want you to do is take all of your offline buyers, and I'll show you how to do it. Custom audience, offline activity. Next, we're going to come here and we're going to go interacted offline to purchases, and then 180 days. I believe that's all the data it'll retain. Name it, save it. When you come back, and you only have to do that obviously one time, but when you come back here, that audience is going to automatically be here in your inclusions. But what we want to do is we want to exclude those buyers. So over the past 6 months, whoever has bought a car, those offline conversions are the best sort of best measurement of that we have as far as the buyer's information. We want to exclude those people from the ad. They don't need to see it, right? Theoretically, if somebody bought a car a week ago, we didn't exclude them, they could still see it. We're wasting money, and if they're engaging with it, they're screwing up the algorithm's optimization process. Okay, so we're going to exclude the buyers. Come down here. You can amend your placements or not. We can get into more why and what I think about that later. Here you can amend the optimization goal and how the ad is delivered. Conversion events, it's going to default to purchase. We know that most likely they're not going to be able to buy a car on the website. So lead would be an option. Now this account's telling me a lead event hasn't been set up. You would obviously know that for the account you're working on. Let's just say it's view content, because the goal is to have them view the BDP page. Great. I'm gonna click show more options. I like attribution settings, just so you know, instead of going with the 7-day click or 1-day view, for a lot of these conversion goals, 1-day click or 1-day click or view is going to perform better and quicker, especially with a lot of the time periods we're working in. Okay, so that's the ad set. Now there'd be some variances if we chose this, but there's just more customization involved, and I know due to scale, that's not really something we're trying to do. So at the ad level, you can select how you want the ad to display. If you want a carousel, which is pretty standard, and I hate how Firkins does this with all the crap around it, but that's how their catalog feed comes in from the website, so it just is what it is. But anyways, you can edit this first image, and a lot of this is again, you guys have run a ton of carousel ads, so once you get to this point, the process is very similar. You've got your catalog that you've selected feeding in here. You can amend how that appears. It can be a slideshow, single image, a collection. Again, some of this gets into a little bit of customization that you're probably not going to want to do. The only thing I typically, if you have again, if we're marketing Wranglers and that's our product and we have some sort of promotion or, this much off MSRP, whatever it is, um, what I like to do is add, why am I losing my place? Add card, and we'll add that intro card, which would be whatever you received from creative, right? So we'd upload that here. And that would be the first thing someone saw, and then after that would be the rest of the catalog. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. You guys know heads and tails of the rest of this. That should be it. So as far as the catalog is concerned, that should go directly to the product page. I know it's showing this, but each one of these vehicles will click and default automatically to its page. You don't have to put that in. You don't have to worry about it. I would imagine, I haven't run carousel ads in forever, but with carousel ads, you're having to put in the exact destination for each image, and then you probably have like an overall default destination. Here, it's going to default to the product page. So even though it's showing this in here, when if I click on this Jeep that's in this image, it's going to take me to that VDP page. And again, some of this stuff, instead of shop now, I would, go with learn more. I think that call to action, I mean, it's been proven to perform better as far as clicks are concerned. And yeah, I think that's it. But if you have any questions, guys, just let me know. Happy to help in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, and if I left anything out, just again, feel free to ask me. But the only thing I can think of, and you're probably, I was trying to walk you through just the nuts and bolts of this and what you might notice that's different. But here, I just noticed this when I was kind of clicking out of here. I didn't put my location in, but you guys know that stuff. So this was more so just how to create these and maybe some things that you might see that you're not used to. So I hope this helps, and take care. Have a